We never get it fixed either, you know
I
that?
know, we complain Mondays and Thursdays, but
Yes,
that's okay.
Absolutely. Good morning. I've asked Rebecca Cartmill to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the June 15th, 2017 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Bob Archer. I currently have the honor of serving as the chair of the commission and represent District 3, alongside Commissioner Shelley Bueller, who represents District 1, and Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
First item of business, please.
First item is item 3, consent agenda.
Questions or comments on the consent agenda?
I do not. I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the consent agenda by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 4, new business A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, this morning we have vouchers that total $637,740.98. The highlights out of the voucher report are payments to solid waste of $236,022.22. Primarily, those are made up of waste management fees. We have employment withholdings of $71,436.40. Bridge project with Finney and Turnip Seed of $43,936.60. Holding accounts with the state of Kansas for motor vehicle fund of $64,916.37, and then Parks and Recreation of $97,087.02 between their different accounts. I do not have any questions, and I would move for their approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the vouchers by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the correction orders by Commissioner Bueller. And that was seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B, Bond Council number 1, acknowledge receipt of petition and consider approval of resolution number 2017-29, creating the Timber Ridge Subdivision Street Benefit District Phase 4, authorizing the construction of streets therein, and assessing all costs of construction and installation of the improvements against the lots benefited thereby.
Good morning, Bob Perry. This is the fourth phase of a street improvement district that the petitioners, the developers, have asked that the county create. Once it's completed, the cost associated with the street improvements were to be assessed against the lots benefited by the streets, and so there will be special assessments to pay these streets. In addition to the surety that's to be filed by the developer in this project, each of the individuals on the petition and the development company have provided to the county a guarantee wherein they personally guarantee they will pay any unpaid specials as long as they own those lots.
And what does the surety consist of, Bob?
It's 30%. I mean, from the code, I remember that it will be, Chuck usually does a letter of credit, 30% of the amount of the improvements,
Okay.
which doesn't get released until 50% of the lots have been sold or the assessed value of the lots exceeds 50% of the improvements.
Okay.
I haven't read the code for a while, but that's memory. I think that's right.
Okay, thank you. Questions for Mr. Perry, commissioners? I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B2, consider approval of resolution number 2017-30, authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $5 million aggregate principal amount of revenue bonds, United Methodist Homes, Inc., Series 2017, to provide funds to acquire, construct, install, equip, and furnish additions and improvements to a continuing care retirement facility leased to United Methodist Homes, Inc., and pay certain costs related thereto.
Basically, these improvements will go to what is known as Aldergates Village down on Northwest 29th Street. It's my understanding that these improvements basically consist of upgrades to allow the facility to meet some of the desired amenities with these types of communities today. The bonds will constitute special limited obligations of the county. They are not payable by any means of taxation, but payable solely from the revenues derived from the rental of the facilities to United Methodist Homes.
Questions or comments?
I have none. I'll move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motion made to adopt by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0.
Great, thank you.
Bob. Next item, please.
Item C, Sheriff's Office, number 1, acknowledge receipt of correspondence from Sheriff Jones regarding renewal of a maintenance contract with Motorola, contract C-205-2017, to provide advanced network inspections and preventive maintenance to the Shawnee County Radio Communication Network, resulting in an increase in fees of $15,146.04 for a total cost of $236,991 with funding from the 911 funds.
Good morning, Commission. Phil Bloom, Shawnee County Sheriff's Undersheriff. Before us have the renewal agreement for our Motorola contract. This is our communication system for all the emergency communications or communications for our agency and the other agencies. Little component of this that we're looking at renewal for our contract is a preventive maintenance portion of it. One of the things we've kind of assessed is not that our towers or structures are old, but as they do get older, and with obviously the components, we're talking 200, 250 feet towers and in some inclement weather, some of the things they go through. We want to be on the front end of some of the preventive issues that we face. Some of the other things we looked at too is in discussion with Motorola is our system works well, but do we know that it's working at optimum levels? So the preventive maintenance, maybe the communications, and this is hypothetical, maybe we're operating at 80% efficiency. Well, the preventive maintenance will come in and we will operate at an optimum level. We can tune in some fine things. So that's what we're looking at for our preventive maintenance, and that's what the increase here is for.
Questions for Under Sheriff Bloom?
Commissioner,
Yes, Commissioner Cook.
I don't know that I have any questions about the service agreement. It's a fairly standard agreement and just a part of our 911 service, but I do note that we have Mr. Rabbit in the audience with us. If we could steal him for just a moment, maybe kind of talk about our 911 and dispatch and how we're doing.
Absolutely. Good.
Not to get us off topic, but using the opportunity.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jeremy Rabb, Interim Director, Shawnee County Emergency Communications. The 911 Center is progressing nicely. In the last 9 months, we've performed many initiatives that have been tabled, looked at, and put into action. One of the bigger ones is the Communication Training Academy that was put in place back in September. We now have an academy that brings together our public safety partners, a classroom environment, so new individuals that come on board as communication specialists have one-on-one with a certified instructor in a classroom, as well as fire, law, and other public safety partners and critical infrastructure partners coming in to educate them on the things that they may face during their times as a dispatcher, whether how fire engines operate, how police perform their jobs on a daily basis, and maybe even how some of the utilities work and some of the things they may face during critical storms and the calls. So all in all, it's been very successful. We've had a lot of positive feedback from senior leaders on the management board. We continue to push forward. One of the big benefits was previously when we would hire folks, we'd bring them in. It would take 9 months, maybe longer, to get that class trained and operational. With this, we are now looking at perhaps 6 months, maybe 5. So we're cutting that down considerably and getting 2 classes through a year, therefore getting more new hires done.
Great. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Commissioner Cook. I know that you're making a lot of changes in the dispatch center, but I think the community really wants to know, are we making progress? And I think you're telling us that we are making really good progress in addressing the issues of the dispatch center.
Yes, Commissioner, we are. One of the
Okay.
things that we faced right off the bat was to face some of the concerns that were brought forth last year.
Right.
And we have addressed those and, again, reconvened the management board, and we are making progress. It, like any big change, it takes time, but
Right.
every day we move forward.
Okay. I think the community needs to know that. I'll make a motion to acknowledge receipt.
Second.
Motion made to acknowledge receipt by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Undersheriff, for coming. It's
Thank you,
appreciated.
Commissioner.
Next item, please.
Item D, Health Department, number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C206-2017 with Lamar Advertising for education and awareness of the Kansas Tobacco Quit Line through the advertising on 2 billboards paid for by KDHE with no cost to the county.
Good morning, Commissioners. Craig Barnes, Health Department. As this was just mentioned, this is we're looking for approval from the board to purchase 2 billboards through Lamar Advertising for 8 weeks. These would be to promote the Kansas Quit Line, a free service for those individuals looking to quit tobacco. These 2 locations were chosen because they are in areas where there's a high rate of people who smoke in our community, as well as for their visibility. One at 6th and McVicker right there, so just south of where the new health department building is, as well as 13th in California with proximity to the interstate. So I would be more than happy to answer any questions you might have.
What happens when I call the quit line?
When you call the quit line?
Yeah.
So when you call the quit line, there is a trained counselor on the other end. You'll have one that proactive or that call at the beginning, so a reactive call, and then you'll set up for 7 additional calls at the end that'll be proactive with a game plan, set a quit date, and everything of that sort. Talk about any resources that you can possibly have and get you in contact with a primary care physician if you don't already have one, with the possibility of getting some nicotine replacement to also help you quit. So a lot of different avenues that you can take there, because a lot of people, it's nice one-on-one counseling, so it's just a way that if you don't like group counseling or if you tried nicotine replacement therapy in the past, just another way to kind of help you try to quit if you need to.
Good to know. Other questions?
I have none. I'll move approval of the contract.
Second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you very much. Next item, please, ma'am.
Item E, Parks and Recreation, number 1, consider approval to fill a vacant park police officer position at a salary including benefits of $54,276.
Good morning, Commissioners. Terry Birtles, Parks and Recreation, here asking for your approval to fill a vacant park police officer position. We are currently at 2 full-time staff. That's Chief Cope and his officer, Jerry Jackson. I will say that Chief Cope is working hard to try to find part-time staff to fill vacant hours or hours that we need to have filled. And it's not easy, but having some success. Just a heads up on a little bit of what they do. In addition to their policing duties, which are, they're fully sworn, commissioned law enforcement officers. But in addition to their policing duties, they have a lot of park and recreation security duties, things like running deposits, picking up deposits, running to the bank, so we don't have our part-time intermittent staff picking up thousands of dollars worth of deposits and running them. A lot of security checks on buildings and such. We've had a little bit of a rash of unlocked buildings recently, and it's nice to have that backup to do that kind of stuff. They do a lot of mutual aid stuff. We rely a lot on our friends at the Topeka Police Department as well as our co-workers with the Shawnee County Sheriff's Department. And I like to think that they count on us to some degree when it comes to mutual aid. I do think they would willingly do a lot of this stuff, but I also think that it's nice for us to have our own police force. And having come from a side that did not have our own police force and had to rely on response time from existing resources, excuse me, I'm glad to have somebody I can call and know that they're going to be there soon. So we're asking for the position to be filled, and it is funded in the 2017 budget.
Very good. Questions for Terry?
Move for approval.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Terry. Next item, please.
Item E2, consider authorization and execution of contract C207-2017 with Labor Max to provide 13 temporary staff for 8 hours for the July 4th State of Kansas activities at a cost of $1,414.40 with funding from the Parks and Recreation 2017 budget.
Good morning, Commissioner. Sean Osborne, Parks and Recreation. This is an item that helps us offset the cost with Spirit of Kansas. We do not have the labor force to keep up with the community bathrooms throughout Lake Shawnee, and that's why we've chose this route. We went that route last year, and it seemed to work very well. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
I'll move to approve the contract.
Second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Thank you.
Item E3, consider approval to select bids to replace the existing artificial turf on the Jerry Robertson Field at an estimated cost of $250,000 with funding from the Capital Outlay Fund.
Good morning, Commissioners. Sean Osborne, Parks and Recreation. This is, if you will, this is the big field that takes place at Bettis. Typically, our estimated time for this is going to be this fall of when we try to get this implemented and put in. But the field turf itself is basically anywhere from 6 to 8 years is what they normally last. We were able to get an extra few years with staff and the tremendous job that they did with extending that life. But typically in this type of field, at schools, high schools, they only play the high school games and maybe a few tournaments. We see over 225 games that take place at Jerry Robinson Field, which brings in a tremendous amount of money back into the community.
It certainly does.
So I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have within the RFP on this.
Questions?
I do not.
Don't have any either. I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you very much, Sean. And thank you for your explanation on the field. I know there was a lot of misinformation that went along on that, and I'm glad you cleared that up. Thank you. Next item, please.
Item F, Public Works Solid Waste. Number 1, consider change order number 1 to contract C 164-2017 with Bettis Asphalt and Construction, Inc., increasing the original as-bid contract amount by $26,742.50 for the South Topeka Boulevard, Southwest 57th to north of Southwest Airport Drive, cold and overlay projects.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Block with Public Works and Solid Waste. It's a Public Works item, and this change order is for the final quantities of the project. Just to give you a little idea of why we are over is when we originally set this project up, we basically set the limits to fit within what we thought our budget would be based on our estimated cost for the project. We ended up getting much better bids than we had estimated. And the limits that we had were not necessarily the best place to transition the project for next year, because our intention is to continue this mill and overlay work further south onto South Topeka Boulevard. So what we had the contractor do was we extended our limits, the scope of our project, about 300 or 400 feet further south to a better transition point. So next year, when the project comes in, we'll have a better place to start. So that was the increase in the quantities. Even as such, this project is still coming in at $85,000 under our budget. So we thought it was well worth to have a better transition point and still be well within the budget. So they have performed the work. They did it in a very timely manner. We're happy with the quality, so it's our recommendation that this be approved.
I'm happy. I'll make a motion to approve the change order.
I'll second, but I do have just a question as explanation. We budgeted $20,000 as our contingency amount. Is this based on a formula, or were there things that we anticipated? Because our actual final construction costs were $162.80 in contingency.
Typically, contingencies are just a percentage of the estimated budget. So in this case, it looks like it was 5%. So that's pretty common. You budget for things that are just unforeseen.
And in this case, it worked out well.
Yes.
Thank you.
I do have a question.
Yes, Commissioner Bueller.
Tom, I know we're responsible for a certain stretch, and then the city of Topeka is responsible for a stretch of this road. So have there been improvements like this or maintenance of this road by the city of Topeka as well?
Not that I'm aware of. The transition point is at 49th Street, I believe.
Okay.
And last year, when we did our first phase, we had contacted the city to see if they were interested in doing a joint project to go from the city limits to the north. And at that time, they were not interested in doing it at that time. And since we were further away from the line, the corporate line, city's corporate line, we did not contact them this year about it since we were already a mile south. So.
Sure. Okay, but no work has been done by the city in that area that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. If I get complaints about roads, it's about South Topeka Boulevard, and it's about Urish Road from 21st to 29th. I hear that over and over and over again. I wish the city would take action on those items. Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item F2, consider awarding the bid for asphalt milling of an estimated 65,500 square yards to Bettis Asphalt at an estimated cost of $121,175 with funding from the 2017 Public Works Road Maintenance Fund.
Commissioners, Tom Block again, Public Works and Solid Waste. This too is a Public Works item. And this is for milling of two roadways for us, Northeast 46 from Meriden to Sherman Road, which is essentially K4 in the northeast part of the county, and then also Southwest Auburn Road from 45th to 61st. This is a continuation of the work that we have done in the past couple of years, in which we are trying to get a very nice asphalt overlay road surface for some of the major corridors around that are county roads and kind of around the outskirts of the metropolitan area. Essentially what we do is we don't have the equipment, the large machine to do the cold milling of the asphalt, so we hire that out and then we come back in with our own crews to do the actual asphalt overlay. If this is approved, we would then, when we finish the 46th Street portion, that would give us, in our opinion, a quite nice asphalt surface, for the most part, from Highway 75 all the way to K4. And then on Auburn Road, our portion begins at K4, which is goes off to Dover. That's where the county takes over maintenance of Auburn Road, because Auburn Road north of that K4 link to Dover is actually K4, and it's under state jurisdiction. So our portion begins at that turnoff to Dover and goes south, and our goal is to have a very nice asphalt overlay from that portion down to 61st, and then we're going to work on 61st going over towards Topeka Boulevard and kind of, like I said, get ourselves a ring around the metropolitan area of a nice corridor of asphalt roadways. So this would just help us get us further down the road, no pun intended, in accomplishing that. So Bettis has done this for us the last few years, and they've done a great job for us, and we would recommend it be approved.
Questions?
I don't have any questions. I'll move approval, but it might be an opportunity to point out to the public, too, that on 61st, we're doing some work there right in front of Auburn-Washburn High School with the turn.
Middle school.
Yeah.
Middle
Yes.
school, okay.
Yes, our Public Works crews are actually right now about halfway complete. I think hopefully it'll be complete next week, but they are we're widening out a decent section, going from where we left off the roundabout there at 61st and Wanamaker, where that leg to the east ends. We are extending or widening a little bit to provide a turn lane primarily into the middle school. We've had quite a bit of traffic congestion there when folks want to drop their kids off at the middle school.
Yeah.
So this will provide a safe transition to make the left-hand turn there and not back up traffic as they're waiting to turn left.
Busy time of year.
Yeah, thanks for
Okay.
bringing that
But
up.
there is a
Yes,
motion.
Commissioner Cook.
Along that same line of thought, I get a lot of calls about the north at the Seaman High School and the Seaman schools with traffic congestion, people trying to get to the high school to drop off or pick up, and traffic backed up onto 46th Street or Topeka Boulevard. How do we go about determining when we're going to add those lanes? What's the process that we go through in that?
Well, primarily, we need a phone call to be notified. You may be getting the calls. We haven't.
Okay.
So they're calling the wrong person, I guess.
Well, that's an area, because when we did the Topeka Boulevard, when we did the expansion of the Topeka Boulevard, we looked at, I know that there were some thoughts that we looked at that as well as on 46th Street when there was work done on that area as well. So I don't, just the process we go through.
Yeah, the first thing they should contact our office and just say, hey, there's a concern that we've got, and like I said, Rochester, as it goes up north from 46th Street, although it's going to be a ways out, that is slated for reconstruction as part of the sales tax extension program. It's probably far enough out. I don't know where the congestion is happening. Northeast or 50th Street is not a county road, so I don't think we'd handle anything on that. But we just need to get contacted and then see what's going on.
Okay. I guess you've been contacted.
Okay.
So noted. Yeah.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you for the enlightenment, Tom. Next item.
Item G, Administrative Services, number 1, consider approval of request to sell surplus property, including miscellaneous computer equipment and a 2000 GMC Safari minivan and a 1992 International Custom Van TURB.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michelle Hanshaw here for Betty Griner. I just need permission to get rid of some surplus.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item H, County Councilor, number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-208-2017 with Cook, Flatt, and Strobel Engineers to conduct a land survey related to the Kansas Expo Center renovation project at a cost of $24,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Crowell, Shawnee County Councilor. I'll repeat what the clerk just said, but this is a proposed contract with Cook, Flatt, and Strobel related to the Expo Center renovation project. Pursuant to our contract with HTK Architects, they send out RFPs for this type of work and then give us a recommendation as to which company to contract with. In this case, their recommendation was for Cook, Flatt, and Strobel, which also I think had the lowest bid for this type of work. But this is for a land survey, preliminary work related to the renovation project. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. Kevin Holland with Cook, Flatt, and Strobel is also here. If you have any questions for him.
Any questions, Commissioners?
I think I do.
Yes.
We're not just talking about where the Leland Arena sits. It's the scope. Can we talk about the scope of the work that's going to be done, the area that we're going to be surveying?
Kevin, you want to come up and explain that?
It's not just one small area.
No, it is.
It's a much larger area.
Yeah, thank you for
I'm going to put Kevin on the spot,
bringing that up.
since we're hiring him.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kevin Holland, Cook, Flatt, and Strobel. I had to actually check with Dennis to see, because there was an RFP for 2. I believe you accepted the full amount to do all of the expo except for the architectural building in the northeast corner of the site. So we will be basically doing topography of all of the expo from Topeka Boulevard over to Western, not the fire department there,
Right.
but so it'd be north of the fire department all the way back to 17th Street.
It's the whole Expo campus, basically.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You bet.
With that, I'll
Thank
move
you for-
approval of the
thank you for-
contract.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you for bringing that up, Commissioner. Motion made to approve by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Jim. Next item, please.
Item I, Commission, number 1, consider approval of resolution number 2017-31, appointing Rebecca Cartmill as the Director of Shawnee County Department of Community Corrections, effective June 15, 2017, at a salary of $77,688.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. You've been the interim for a while. Would you give us a little bit of your background and what you've discovered in being the interim?
Wow, a lot of things. We don't have that much time.
Okay.
Started in 1986 at the Shawnee County Work Release as a program coordinator, and when that was closed, I moved to intensive supervised probation and community corrections as an officer, and then became a supervisor there, and about 20 years ago. And then became a division manager, and then the interim director when Ed O'Rear retired. So, long history, and as an interim, I learned that Jane had to tell me how many copies to send over to the commissioners, and what else did I learn? Gosh. Learned to do a lot of grants. Some I already knew, but there was more to learn. And I was appreciative of department heads, particularly Brian, that gave me some advice along the way. And so, anyway, here now. So.
Okay. Thank you. And it should be pointed out that Community Corrections is a state-funded operation, but we do have some oversight responsibilities there. I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motion made to adopt by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you for your confidence in me.
All right, thank you and congratulations, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby with Parks and Recreation. It's that time of year again where we have the Topeka 10-man triathlon Saturday. This is the 37th year of this triathlon. It's one of the oldest triathlons in the United States. Very, very popular. In the past, we've had basically a short course and a long course. I heard they've expanded this for you, Mr. Block. I believe they're doing an Ironman type. They actually have 4 events this year. The longest is a 2-mile swim, 80-mile bike, and an 18-mile run. So that's right up your alley, I think, Tom. So, or John. They don't have a float trip, John. But I would like everybody in that area, the southeast Shawnee County, to be watching for bicyclists around Lake Shawnee. Most of the running is all on the trail, but just be cautious of the traffic on Saturday morning. They actually enter the water at 6:45, so it's really early. But you can come out to watch the event anytime throughout the morning. We've set up now where parking, you don't have to be in at a certain time to get in there to watch. So the organization Silverbacks runs it with a contract, and they do a fabulous job. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Randy.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. Last weekend, I think it's been in the paper about the Ronald McDonald House Charities and the Pull a Plane event they had out at Forbes. I'm quite proud that with the non-corporate sponsors that the Team Department of Corrections won that event and pulling an 80,000-pound plane 50 feet in 12 seconds. And they did a remarkable job. They had a lot of fun with that. And not only, I think, because of the event, but also I'm much more proud of the issue of that the Department of Corrections raised the most money to go to the charity. So with that, it was fun. I told them that I would make this announcement at the public. I'm very proud of the staff that did this on their own time, brought their kids out. So it was fun. So.
Good. Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
Good morning. Hans Niska with the Kansas Expo Center. Just wanted to give an update. Had a fun circus last night, 2 shows. Kids had a lot of fun, and circus was in and out quickly, so it was a good time. Tonight, is going to be a bright, sunshiny afternoon, evening for our third Thursday with delicious food. Bob Lohmeyer's concoction of an idea of a cheeseburger with lots of bacon on it, and I believe macaroni and cheese on it, which... So he went. We're going the healthy route today. So anyone that's on a diet, come on out. Obviously, beverages and a local band called Past Tense, which is a popular local band that has a good local following. So it should be a nice, fun afternoon, evening out at the Heritage Hall. So everyone's invited. We also have the Hunter Jumper Show in Domer Arena this weekend, and in the parking lot we have a free to public if you'd like to watch very skilled truck drivers in a truck rodeo. Come on out, and it's in the parking lot this weekend. So that's the update from the Expo Center.
Thank you, Hans.
Good morning, Commissioners. Linda Oaks from the Health Department. All I have to say about the cheeseburgers is all things in moderation.
I want to taste these ones.
I did want to bring to everyone's attention that Monday is our quarterly Board of Health meeting, and some of the topics we'll be covering. Misty Lechner from Heartland Healthy Neighborhoods will be talking about the food system assessment. Teresa Fisher will give an overview of the fetal infant mortality review. Ed Kalis is going to talk about mosquito surveillance, and I'm promised some show and tell on that. And then Dr. Bazzino is going to wind it up with a presentation on the county health rankings, what will it take to improve Shawnee County health. So looking forward to seeing you then. Thank you.
Good, I'm looking forward to that too. Thank you, Linda. Others for administrative communications this morning? Commissioner Bueller.
Bikers are going to be arriving in Rossville about 10:30 this morning, so Bike Across Kansas arrives. It's going to be a busy day in Rossville, a lot of good food, and they're asking for anybody can come out and make some money for those local groups, but about 700 to 800 bikers in Rossville.
Wow.
They're coming from Wamego on Highway 24 this morning, then tomorrow morning, breakfast at 5:30 a.m., and then they're going north, so they're not going on Highway 24, which is a good thing, because there has been a lot of increased traffic, at least since the close of the bridge.
Right.
It's very busy, and I'm saying this for our law enforcement in the audience that again, use caution. There's just a lot of traffic on Highway 24. So, all right.
How's the commute?
Good. Oh, good for me. I usually come in on Highway 24. I go back on over the Willard Bridge, so I just have to go back the other way, or go Maple Hill. Either way.
Okay. Good. Yep. Commissioner Cook.
Just really, there was a very nice article about the Parks and Rec lifeguards and the safety action they did, and just really want to compliment our staff and their training and the young people who stepped up in a very tense emergency situation and really demonstrated a lot of professionalism, and it really showed well for the county. So good job, John, and your staff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Anything else?
No, thank you.
I would remind everyone that there is an open house tonight to talk about the comprehensive plan at 6 o'clock at Big Gauge. I hope the community turns out to discuss this. In my view, there are quite a few controversial proposals in the comprehensive plan, so I want to hear from the community about those proposals. So I encourage people to show up and let your voices be heard. That's all I had. Next item, please.
Item 6, executive session.
There's not a need, so we're officially adjourned.